Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And a good morning to you. Coffee and time, like the man said, on ON, AM, and FM. It is Thursday morning. It's June 25th. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Joe Callahan. On the phone with us, Bob Lauder. Good morning to you, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you as well. Dave Richards is here. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Joe. How's that? Oh, hi there. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Bob. Lovely day. It certainly is, isn't it?
Yes, and we're expecting Woonsocket City Council President Dan Gendron to be calling in at any moment.
He must be busy with affairs of city.
Or the nursing home.
Wow.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, that's right. He could be busy at his job. Yeah, that's right.
And I talked to his wife the other day. And
yes.
She said, "Oh yeah, we'll call him in. I'll have him call in." And she said, "What time?" I said, 8:00, and she said, "Okay." So,
well, I'm sure Dan will be with us shortly.
But in the meantime, Bob.
Yeah.
I saved this from a couple of days ago, and I have to go off the top of my head because I actually threw the paper away with all the specifics. But I do remember most of this. So, you know, the United States, we're not the only ones that are filled up with frivolous lawsuits.
What do you mean frivolous?
It happened. See, I knew he'd say something. There are no frivolous lawsuits, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there's another crazy lawsuit that's happening in England. All right.
Oh, okay.
Man and a woman meet on one of those dating apps.
Oh, goody.
Okay.
That sounds like a juicy story.
And they decide, okay, yep, we have a lot in common, so we'll get together and we'll go out somewhere. And they go out. All right. On one date. I believe it's only one. At the end of the date, the man gets, they do kiss at the end of the date. Mm-hmm. All right. He now says, he claims that kiss gave him a cold sore on his lip, which is basically herpes, in a very simple form, which he will now have to deal with for the rest of his life. Okay?
Yeah.
He's now suing her for over $200,000. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Saying that she should have told him that she has this condition, and therefore he would have, maybe he wouldn't have had the kiss at the time. Okay. She's also he's suing her. She is now suing him because she says it's a ridiculous claim and a ridiculous lawsuit. The question for you, Bob, have you ever heard of something similar to this kind of case somewhere in Rhode Island?
In Rhode Island?
Or in the United States?
No, I haven't. But I think there's several elements to the case. First of all,
see,
we
they're
talk about the
never frivolous
proof factor.
Dave.
And that would be, I think, rather difficult to prove that this is the reason that you had this particular malady come upon you. I mean, even if you were able to get evidence that the female partner was infected with the disease, which I think is only going to be available to you if you can get some kind of a court order that requires she submit to either testing or you can somehow subpoena medical records, and I think there'll be a lot of objection to that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, going beyond that issue is whether or not she's the only person you had contact with in a reasonable period of time that might have had this condition. It's going to be extraordinarily difficult, I think, to even prove your allegation.
Okay.
But to put it in a more realistic position, is suppose you did know that you had a contagious disease,
mm-hmm.
and suppose you did not warn the other person of its existence, and yet you knew that particular contact was likely to infect that person, are you liable for their getting it? A more dramatic thing would probably be back in the days when AIDS was such a horrible, it's still a horrible disease, but I mean, a disease that was almost a death sentence.
Mm-hmm.
If you had that particular disease, you had sexual relations with somebody else, and you knew that there was the possibility of the disease being transmitted to the other person, and you didn't tell them, I think that you would have had a liability there. So the concept of being liable for your actions, I don't think is so unusual. It's more along the lines of whether or not you can actually prove it. And I think that is going to be very difficult.
Well, the story that we had, and of course it's only a paragraph, so it doesn't go into a tremendous detail. It doesn't seem like she is denying that this took place. Almost saying, yes, I did have it, and didn't, probably said I didn't know it was active at the time. But she just thinks, I think she thinks that the money that he's looking for is ridiculous, over $200,000. And it's just, it is just a cold sore, and it will, put some bliss stick on it, and you'll be fine.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I'm not a medical specialist, so I can't tell you whether or not the conveyance is actually making him also a carrier of the herpes disease or not. That may be what he is looking at. I'm surprised that in the initial pleadings she may have admitted the allegation. I would have thought they'd have started off with a general denial. And you prove your case against me. I'm not going to help you in showing that you're going to win. But I don't know.
Okay. Well, like you said, Bob, there are no frivolous lawsuits, right?
Man, frivolous lawsuits, my office would be closed. Although I do not, I got to put in the disclaimer, I don't do this kind of
lawsuits. That's right.
I did it in the past, but not now.
Oh, okay.
I'm too old for it.
All right, joining us on the phone right now is Woonsocket City Council President Dan Genren. Good morning to you, Dan.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to have you with us this morning.
Thank you. It's nice to be here, and I appreciate you letting me do this on the phone. It's tough to get out of work lately.
We understand that. It's fun times we're all living in, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right. We were just talking about Bob about frivolous lawsuits, but we'll move on from that. And
before you do that, let me just interrupt one more thing. Dan has hands-on experience with knowing what frivolous lawsuits are about, because many years ago, his mother, who is a wonderful, wonderful lady, worked with me and guided me through the opening years of my office and made things work out real nice. And she probably told him about frivolous lawsuits in the past.
So Dan,
my best to his dad is fantastic and a great photographer.
So Dan's
now
mother,
the family history. We can go on.
Dan's mother passed all the frivolous lawsuits on to you, Bob?
I think she probably made me realize that there's more important things to do in running an office than what my original intentions were.
I think you're right. She had, you were like her fourth son, Bob.
Oh, gee.
Isn't that nice? She didn't cut you out of the will, Dan, and put Bob in, did she?
Well, she didn't cut me out, but she did reduce my share a little bit to make sure Bob was adequately taken care of.
Aren't you lucky, Bob?
Hey, when you write the wills for people, you can put anything. That's not true.
And just sneak that in there. No one will notice. All right. Well, that's nice that Bob and Dan have a history together. So that's pretty cool. So I have a public service announcement for the two of you, actually for Dave as well. All right. No, I don't know. I know Dave's not a big gambler, but I don't think Bob's a big gambler. I don't know about you, Dan, but this is what you got to do. You need to find out where I stand on something else, and then bet the other side.
Aha.
Because I've been saying for 2 months there'll be no baseball this year, and look what's going to happen. Baseball's going to start in a month.
So you are the fail-safe way to win a bet.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
So there you go.
Joe's taking after me in sports. I'm that way in politics.
There you go.
You backed the wrong horse.
I can't predict politics worth a darn. I have an abysmal history of that. As a matter of fact, I've had politicians look me in the eye and say, "Dave, please don't vote for me."
Oh, please don't.
So I need to
publicly back me.
I need to win.
And so that explains why Dave every year tells me not to run.
So far, it's been working out, right, Dan?
Yeah, exactly.
It's working out very well.
Don't run again, Dan.
Okay.
All right. We're going to get to that in just a minute. We do have an email to get to, and if you want to send an email in, send it into coffee@woonsocketradio.com.
New email address.
This is about the Boston Red Sox. This person's looking forward to the 60-game schedule. I know it's early, but I'm itching for baseball. You got another month to wait. Looking at the starting rotation for the Red Sox, we got Rodriguez, Evaldi, Perez. After that, there's a bunch of question marks. Closers out in the bullpen, Matt Barnes, Brandon Workman. After that, we're not sure. Ruh-roh, like Astro. The lineup still should be productive. Benintendi, Bogarts, J.D. Martinez, Rafael Devers, Verdugo. I think that one's new. Chavis, Bradley, Vasquez. Second base is kind of up in the air. Pierce, DH, first base. Overall, 35 wins should make the playoffs, and the team still has the nucleus to make it. Favorites look like the Yankees and the Blue Jays. 40 games with East and 20 games with the NL East. That's the way it shakes out. To play this year, they're just going to stay on the East Coast. And like I mentioned before, one of the big problems is if they stumble right out of the gate and only win their first 3 games and lose their next 15, the season's going to be over. You have to get out of the gate very well in order to move on to the playoffs. But we'll see what happens. I did mention to Dave, by the way, guys, that a month is a long ways away, and so much can happen in the next 4 weeks that baseball may still not happen. But we'll see.
Do they plan to have people actually in the stands, or is it going to be baseball played in an empty park?
At the beginning, Bob, they're going to have no one in the stands.
Wow.
That may change after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on where COVID-19 goes. And then they may start letting people in. But that remains to be seen.
I heard that they were going to
let me
consider.
ask you.
Go ahead, Dan.
No, I was just going to ask you what's your call for football then?
I think football's
Seeing
going
what's
to.
happening.
I think football's going to start on time, and no fans in the stands for football either.
Okay.
Right off the bat.
Do you think they're going to be broadcasting in the sounds of attendance so that the players have more of a feeling of being revved up for the game as opposed to playing to silence?
You mean
What,
a crowd track instead of a laugh track, a crowd track?
Yes.
Pumped in crowd noise. Wow. I don't think they'll do that.
That's interesting. Well, they'd be smart to try it. Look to Fox to try that because they're a little on the cutting edge thing there. And by the way, thanks to Fox, you can watch NASCAR on TV again because really, seriously, until they started putting the cameras in the cars and stuff like that, it was like dull as dishwater trying to watch a NASCAR race. Right.
Just going around in a circle.
Floor it, turn left. Floor it, turn left. Floor it, turn left.
That's all you got.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the way it is. Now, I'm a race fan. I have been since I was a young boy because we grew up within earshot of the Thompson Raceway in Connecticut. So we would go out there, and I learned what racing was really all about from them. Not the glitter, soap opera crap you see on NASCAR, but real automobile racing where people, had bread and butter jobs, but they wanted to go out on the weekend and see what they could do with a car. And it was pretty exciting stuff. But if it weren't for Fox, you really couldn't watch NASCAR on TV. Seriously. They try new things.
Go ahead, Bob.
When you're talking about the crowd noise that's being broadcast in by Fox, you know where I'm coming from on this one, the far left side. But did they do that with the Tulsa rally for the president?
Aren't you a funny man?
Hey.
No, they
I'll
did.
probably
No,
be
they did
weeping
not.
The second week of November, but
That's right. All right. CBS is also running golf, Dave. If you're with no crowd.
Well, who cares about the crowd on CBS?
No, but you mean the crowd at the golf tournaments.
They already have the delay, the HD delay machine. They needed that right after Janet Jackson. So just run it through that. And when somebody says the expletive after I hook a shot, then they can take that out before the audience hears it and avoid those nasty fines.
And if anybody's ever been golfing, you hear that quite a bit out on the golf course.
Well,
Especially when I'm
sometimes,
playing.
I'm sure.
What was that, Dan?
I said, especially when I'm playing.
See? And it's far worse than saying, oh, darn.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. We are going to talk about stuff from the city, Dan, so don't worry. We're going to get to you about that.
I hope so. A guy's taking time out of his day to be with us.
That's why we have him here.
Okay.
So, but we're going to take our break here in the Coffee and Program. Comments and questions can be called in 766-1240 or email them into coffee@onesocketradio.com.
When it comes to emergency service for plumbing and heating, you can't beat C.J. Nemus, 37 Corey Street in Woonsocket. C.J. Nemus offers over 15 years of experience and is licensed in both Rhode Island and Massachusetts. C.J. Nemus offers complete heating system service, plumbing, water heaters, plus drain and sewer cleaning. Remember that senior citizens receive a 10% discount. So give Charlie a call today at C.J. Nemus, 769-4776. They're registered with the Better Business Bureau. They're a master plumber with quality service. It's the only way and the best way. With C.J. Nemus, call today, 769-4776 for C.J. Nemus.
So you're remodeling your home, and you want to find just the right flooring. So off you go to DRL Carpet. Why? Because they have the best selection and prices in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. That means you don't have to wait. Plus, it means you can get it installed now. So first you get the best price. Next you get the best service, and you get the best selection. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, hardwood floors, the place to shop is DRL Carpet, 27 Veterans Way, Woonsocket, next to World War II Veterans Memorial Park. DRL Carpet reminds you there's a big difference between getting the job done and getting the job done right. DRL Carpet of Woonsocket. The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON Worldwide.
Coffee In on ON Worldwide, and this is Joe Callahan with Bob Lauder and Dan Generin, Woonsocket City Council President. Dave Richards is here as well. Well, okay, Dan, well, you took out your candidacy papers, correct?
Yes.
You're on the list, so it must be correct. So, and did that go as smoothly as you wanted it to?
Yeah, I think that it was. They had a nice setup at City Hall. You would go to the front door, and they would call the people down from the Board of Canvassers, so you weren't actually going too far into City Hall, and a temp check, and few background questions, and then you got to fill out your form, and that was it. It was pretty uneventful, and it's different. In the past, it'd be people that would be standing there watching to see who would come in and trying to take a tally. There was nothing like that this time.
Okay. Is there any reason why you waited to Wednesday to do this? Or is it just worked out best for your schedule?
No, I did it Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday, okay.
Yeah,
right.
Monday was busy for me, and I just went after work on Tuesday.
Okay.
So, yeah, there was no big plan to it. I just,
That's
we
just
had
the way it
3
worked
days,
out.
and it's just been busy at work. So
yeah.
My days of being able to run out and come back are not like they used to be.
Okay. We asked John Ward this question yesterday, and we didn't have any answer for it, but I don't know if you have one for today. Is it still you have to get 100 signatures, or are you hearing anything different about the number of signatures you're going to have to get in order to be on the ballot?
No, I've actually been told that it is going to stay at 100, and that there's nothing that the General Assembly will be doing to change that.
Okay.
And I've heard that as a pretty firm decision, but I really was hopeful that they would have done something to make it a little bit. There is talk of possibly some electronic type of collecting signatures, but I think that it may not have the time to be implemented.
Okay. So you're still going to do it the old-fashioned way. Now, do you go stand somewhere, Dan, or do you go door to door, or what's your plan to gather the signatures?
Well, those are two different questions. What I have done in the past, and for the last two elections, what we've done is we had a group of people that were like-minded individuals. We rented the Elks Club on Social Street, and we had a small beer and dynamite, and we invited people to come in, and we charged $5 just to try to cover some of the cost, and we had a signature signing event, and we usually brought in about 400 people for that event. It was very, very well attended last year, and we got all our signatures within a few hours.
Okay.
And that was nice. It was us, we were able to communicate with a lot of people at once, and with the new state guidelines for signature collections, it's been condensed from when we were in the odd years on the city side the state has a shorter time period for the collection of signatures. So this was a good plan. Now that's not even an option. So
Right.
it's going to go back to probably my early days of going and meeting with people. Again, I personally, I wouldn't even open the door for somebody that came to my door because you don't know if they've got COVID-19.
Sure.
So I don't know how it's going to be received. I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you. But I've got a big family. I got a lot of friends, and I'm hoping that I can count on those people that live in Woonsocket to sign my papers and move us along.
So you have, do you think you have 100 people that you can easily get?
I do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I do. And again, it's not so much that it's all family and
Yeah.
close friends, but it's people that I could call and know that if I met them on their porch, they would take the paper and sign it and give it back without having too much. Being in healthcare, I'm probably hypersensitive to the exposure for COVID-19,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to make sure I don't bring anything back to my residents here either. So I've got to be super vigilant with how I do this.
Do you see yourself masking up and putting gloves on and and doing that?
I will tell you, I am masked whenever I'm outside of my house. I'm wearing a mask. I have a mask and face shield on at work. It's no longer a unique thing for me. I'm probably in a mask more than I'm out of it.
Wow. Okay.
So
How long do you have to get the signatures, Dan?
I don't even know it's usually about 7 days. So it used to be almost 2 weeks when it was under the city guidelines, but now that we fall under the state guidelines, I think it's just about a week.
And when does that start?
I don't even know. I was afraid you were going to ask me that because before I got on, I was trying to get the date because I thought it might be a question, and I don't know the exact date. So
Okay.
Dave, I will hopefully, if I get it, I will let you know.
Dave, have you heard from Board of Canvassers of when they can start collecting signatures and when they have to be brought back?
You can start collecting signatures next Tuesday on the 30th. The papers should be ready. But then again, there is that lawsuit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so what's going to happen with... So there's stuff up in the air. We'll see.
Yeah, but the scheduled date is you can you pull your papers to collect the signatures on them for your nomination next Tuesday the 30th.
Very good.
What's the lawsuit?
Thank you for that, Dave.
There you go, Dan. Now you know. Well, what's the lawsuit again?
We live to serve.
What's the lawsuit that's pending?
Well, the lawsuit was filed in federal court. I heard it on Coffee Ann when John Ward said it yesterday, as a matter of fact. And it had to do with a certain candidate who brought suit saying that the rules the way they stand right now put candidates in harm's way and or will violate, in all practical purposes, the restrictions that the governor has imposed. Therefore, they should change, something. And it's up to them to review and change something for the safety of all or the improved safety of all. So 100 signatures, they said, was just like, no, come on, too much.
Okay.
Or can we do it electronically or whatever?
Okay.
I think the lawsuit does not specify a remedy, but seeks a remedy that the authorities will specify.
Do you have any thoughts on that one, Bob, about that lawsuit?
I haven't read about the lawsuit. I saw a headline in the newspaper, but Dave knows more about the details of it than I do.
Way to go, Dave.
He's
All
on
right.
his way to law school. He's going to have his bar exam done pretty soon.
It's so close to next Tuesday. Bob, do you think something may happen within the next 3 to 4 days?
I would think it is probably unlikely. Because, I would imagine they'll have to, in such a short time, they file the case in the court, they have to notify the defendant. That's pretty easy to do. And then have a judge schedule it and have your pleadings prepared by Tuesday.
Sounds difficult.
Kind of a rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck getting your signatures, Dan, and getting your name on the ballot. And it looks like there's going to have to be a preliminary vote because there's 15.
If
they all come back.
Yeah. If all 15 bring back 100 signatures, that are certified by the Board of Canvassers in their records. If that happens, then there will be a preliminary election. I believe it's September.
Yes.
Yeah.
They haven't set a date yet, or they just...
Well, I don't know. I think it was like the week after Labor Day, but I don't recall.
Okay.
I believe it's the second Tuesday in September.
Right, which would be the week after Labor Day. Right, got it.
So are they all sitting around at the Board of Canvassers thinking, please, one of you don't bring back enough?
Well, that may be so, but I mean, it's business as usual for the Board of Canvassers. They take
Yeah.
things as it comes.
Sure.
They don't really have opinions on things. They just want, their opinion is they want the process to go flawlessly for everybody, and they fret over the details. My experience with everybody that's connected with the Board of Canvassers and registration in Woonsocket has always been that way. They fret over the details to make sure that everybody gets a fair shake. Mm-hmm. And they work hard at it. They really do. And I know Sue Vadnais was quoted in the paper earlier saying, I don't know when they're going to let us go back into our office.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to certify these people somewhere. We're going to do it out. Do
it outside?
Do it out in the mini park next to City Hall.
Oh,
Welcome
well,
to
I don't know.
Woonsocket.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Dan. Is this flap with the LGBTQI flag still going on, or has it been settled?
Well, let me just make this clear. I haven't said much about this, but I will tell you, I'm gonna give you guys the inside scoop.
All right.
Because you were nice enough to invite me on, so I'm going to tell you the absolute truth about this situation. And I'm going to start by saying there is no issue here.
Okay.
There is no issue. And I will start with the resolution that the City Council unanimously approved.
Mm-hmm.
Stated that the flag would be flown at Market Square for the month of June.
Right.
And it also directed the individuals from Pride, Rhode Island,
Mm-hmm.
to coordinate everything with the mayor.
Okay.
The event had been canceled for June 8th by Pride. They chose to cancel it. On Sunday night, late Sunday night, they decided to reinstitute the event.
On the 7th or the 14th?
On the 7th, they
Okay.
decided to put it back on for the 8th.
For the 8th. Okay.
So at that point, I got an invitation. I went down, and the vice president from Pride said to me, we've got a problem. There's an American flag and a POW flag, and we don't have a way to put a third flag.
Okay.
So there was like 25 people there. And he said, we're taking down the POW flag. I said, well, I don't know if you... He said, well, we have to. You know, we got to get... And I said, well, I'm taking the flag. I'm going to hold on to the POW flag because I
Okay.
want to... for safekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
So they removed it without coordination with anyone. They took it down.
And gave it to you.
And they handed it to me.
Okay.
I put it in my truck.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody, a veteran, came along, and I handed it off to him after because he was going to make sure that it got back to the administration, to the mayor. So
Okay.
when this happened on Monday, the flag was risen. There was a nice event. People did some speaking things, and then we all broke up and left.
Okay.
And Monday night, I started getting phone calls from veterans who were very upset that the Pride people took down their flag.
Yeah.
And without any permission. So I called up the vice president. His name is Ken Barber. And I said, Ken, you got to talk to the mayor and do something because you're turning a good event bad. Because I will tell you, I was there. It was a nice event. But you didn't have permission to take down their flag. And we just need to fix it. And maybe it means putting more hooks or something. And he said, okay. He then called the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And then he called me back and said, I worked it out with the mayor. I was going to come down and move the flag, but the mayor's going to do it for me, and it's all good. It's still going to be at Market Square, and everything is good. And it was resolved. And the flag was flying in Market Square as the resolution says. There was no hostility. There was no fighting. There was no anger. It was making peace with the POWs and the Pride people.
All right.
Until Alex Kithis
Can you
tried to create.
Right. Can you hold that thought? Because I want to come back to it, Dan. But we got to take a break right now. And so we're going to get to the fun stuff coming up in just a minute. It's time for the weather report, which is being brought to you by Allstate. Today, mostly sunny with a high near 85. Tonight, we have cloudy skies and a low of 63. Friday, a partly sunny day with a high near 84. Friday night, partly cloudy, low of 60. Saturday, partly sunny, slight chance of some showers on Saturday late in the afternoon, and with a high near 84. Sunday, partly sunny and a high near 87. Also a chance of showers late Sunday afternoon. Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, where we have mostly sunny skies and 79 degrees. If you haven't quoted Allstate lately, it's the perfect time. Now, Allstate has new lower auto rates. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote now.
I'm here with Kara Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency. What types of insurance do you provide?
If you come see me, Kara, I will help you review and protect the most important assets in your life. We offer protection for personal lines and business lines of insurance in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. My mother, Celeste, will help you plan for retirement and assist you with protecting your family by providing life insurance.
You're in good hands with Allstate and Kara and Celeste Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency, 125 Eddie Dowling Highway, across from Dowling Village in North Smithfield, 765-5000.
Our business is truly a referral business, and we have built it based on our premier service level and commitment to what we do. If you are looking for personalized service with people who care, that would be us.
Almost everyone has a favorite entree at Chan's Fine Oriental Dining. Mongolian steak, General Tso's chicken, sea jip shrimp, or one of their excellent lo mein entrees. They serve 12 varieties of chow mein and chop suey, as well as 10 selections of fried or white rice, plus poo-poo platters for several persons. Chan's offers delivery 7 days a week, plus takeout and drive-through service. They're also available for catering in-house or on your premises. Chan's at 267 Main Street, Woonsocket, 765-1900.
Here's what's coming up next. Greatest Hits USA.
Hey, this is Chuck Matthews on Greatest Hits USA, and coming up this weekend, we're going to answer the following questions. Who wrote a song about a stripper? What artist answered an ad in the newspaper? And who had the #1 record this week in 1972? So turn it up this weekend right here.
Greatest Hits USA.
Coffee and on ON Radio. This is Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and Woonsocket City Council President Dan Genron's on the phone. Bob Lauder's on the phone as well. And Bob, time for your first message from your law office, please.
Good morning. Thank you. Let me clarify something that I was joking about when I was talking with Dan earlier regarding putting your own name into a will. It is unethical for any lawyer to even attempt to do that kind of craziness.
Okay.
That does not happen. I'd like to talk to you this morning a little bit about the COVID-19 response planning, which you can do on your own and without the assistance of an attorney. The planning is to consider and prepare a durable power of attorney for health care purposes. With the COVID-19 pandemic, the number of individuals being hospitalized with the disease increasing, it may be appropriate for you to consider what would happen to you in the event the disease incapacitates you and you're unable to make or communicate medical decisions on your own. In the event of your mental incapacity, it will be important for your health care provider, doctors, and hospital staff to know who to talk to concerning your care. Now is the time to grant someone else other than yourself the power to make those decisions in the event you cannot do it on your own. The document needed to grant that authority is called the Durable Power of Attorney for Health Care Purposes. It's sometimes referred to as a health care proxy form. The form appropriate for use in Rhode Island is available on the Internet. Filling it out is easy. When preparing the form, you should first talk with the individuals and alternatives who you may be nominating. Make sure the individual is willing to serve and knows your feelings concerning the preservation of life, or in the alternative, do not resuscitate option. Once you have completed the form, your signature should be either notarized or witnessed by 2 individuals who are not related to you, not likely to inherit assets from you, not the individuals you nominated for the form, and not employed by a health care facility. If you think my office may be assistance to you in this or other legal matters, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. Court is not licensed to certify any attorney as an expert specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. All right, Dan, to continue on now with the flag situation at Market Square. Now, you've explained that after the people with Pride, Rhode Island, they get a hold of the mayor to rectify the situation with the flags, and they decide to put the POW flag back up with the American flag, and the Pride flag goes on top of the gazebo at Market Square, and everything's fine. And then something else happens with Alex Kithis. So take it from there.
Well, in true typical Alex Kithis fashion, he never lets anything go by without trying to create a controversy. And so he took what was really a nice event, a nice sunny day, a good representation of the city's support for every community, and turned it into a fundraising campaign. And if you notice, when he first pointed it out, he said, please sign my petition and donate to my campaign, because that's what it's all about. It's all about self-gratification, if you will. He's trying to improve his position. And unfortunately, there were 6 other counselors that were doing it for the right reason, and one who was doing it for political and self-interest. And I've got no use for that type of petty, useless politics in the city of Woonsocket. And that is the disease that hurts our city.
Okay.
And it's the people like Alex Kithis that do not want to see the city do better, but they spend their time trying to find problems where they don't even exist. And I'm sorry that you got to hear my real feelings, but I'm just tired of trying to be the moderate person and work cooperatively and collaboratively with people. I have mastered, I think, the art of compromise, which is necessary in politics, but sometimes when you have people that are just inflexible and uncooperative, there's no way that you can ever get anywhere with them. So I will tell you, there is no flag issue except the one created by Alex Kithis for his own self-advancement.
Was it ever explained to Alex why the flag was moved to where it was moved to? And
only in an email from Ken Barber that went to him and me that explained it in detail. So Alex knew well ahead of time that the people of Pride, Rhode Island were satisfied with the result. And if you read the resolution, and it says that the flag will fly for the month of June at Market Square, where it is right now meets that to the T.
Okay.
And so, Alex, if you're listening, stop it.
Okay.
Stop it and start working for what's good for the city.
So if Pride, Rhode Island is okay with where the flag is, you would think everyone else should be okay where the flag is, right?
You would think.
You would think.
But
okay.
when you have a local resident who wants to create hostility and bring venom into our wonderful community, it's not helping our city at all. So, Alex, if you really want to do something for the city, stop talking and stop making problems and start working for the betterment of the city, please.
All right. Bob, do you have any follow-up questions about the flag situation, or you're all set?
I only know what I read in the paper about it, and I think that Dan has given a very good explanation of what was going on as he sees it. I know nothing else.
Okay. On to another subject, Dan. They've started to pop up all around the area, and they usually do at this time of year, but it's the fireworks tents have now started to pop up. I see them in Market Square and other places, but I don't think I've seen them in Woonsocket anywhere. Dan, are there any of those fireworks tents that are inside the city of Woonsocket?
I have not, like you, I have not seen any. And you know what's unfortunate? There's a lot of angry people because of the fireworks.
Yeah.
I will tell you, the legal fireworks that are sold in the state of Rhode Island are not aerial fireworks.
Right.
Aerial fireworks are not allowed in Woonsocket at all. So,
or the state.
Right, exactly, yeah. But so when you have people who are setting off those fireworks, they didn't buy them at those nice legal stands that are set up for the month of July,
Mm-hmm.
they were bought probably out of state, and they're being set off illegally. So no matter what the city council does, you've already got people who are breaking the law. And I have been calling the police, and I know other people have been calling the police.
Sure.
It's very difficult for them to enforce that, but the aerial fireworks are the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen people set off these little ground things. They don't have noise,
Mm-hmm.
and they just look pretty, and then they go out after a 5-minute display, and it's done.
It's done. Mm-hmm.
And that's what people should continue to use. So, and then they should continue to call the police if they know someone who's listen, they're breaking the law. The police are there to enforce it. Call your police department, and they'll come out and try and rectify it.
Are you getting calls and emails too, Dan, just from the people?
Absolutely, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to work through it. But
Yeah.
I'll get an email that says last night
Yeah.
this was happening, and it's tough because how do you enforce something that happened the night before when there's virtually no evidence that can be used against people or to identify who the people were?
Now, these people that come and set up the tents to sell the fireworks, do they have to go before the Woonsocket City Council to get a permit?
They do.
Okay, and so that hasn't happened yet. So maybe they're not.
I have not seen any for that.
Okay.
But I actually, it's coming up. 4th of July is coming soon, so I don't know what's happening because I have seen them in other communities.
Yes, you would think you would have thought that they would have already come to get their permit.
Correct.
Because you got to at least sell them 2 weeks out to make a profit or something like that.
Right.
Okay.
And that's usually when we see. So I'm waiting to see if we hear any more. But our next council meeting isn't until July 13th.
Well, then they've missed the boat, haven't they?
Right.
for the city of Woonsocket. Okay. Well, it's one less thing to worry about, I guess, right?
That's correct. Yes.
All right. And you're right. It is. People set off the fireworks. You call the police. Okay, come check it out. By the time the police get over there, and it'll take some time, it'll be done and they'll be gone.
Right.
I mean, you'd have to be extremely lucky to have like a patrol car going by at the exact right time to try to catch who's ever setting these off.
Well, I will tell you, in my neighborhood, it was last year. We were having a problem with illegal fireworks, and my wife and I just took a walk, and we identified where they were coming from.
Okay.
We called the police, and the police simply went to the house and said, we know where this is coming from. We know it's coming from here, and we're asking you to stop it. They're not, they didn't issue us fines or anything. They just talked to them, and we never had another problem.
All right. That's good.
So I would, suggest I don't want people taking things into their own hands. That's not right. But if you can identify who it is, it really helps the police. And even if they can't fine them or reprimand them, they can at least talk to them.
Okay. Dan, have you had any conversations with Police Chief Oates here in the city? Going back just a couple of weeks when the protests were taking place, did you have any conversations with him?
I spoke with him once, but it was a brief discussion, and it was just to say that, they were working on keeping things safe and not violating people's rights to protest and such like that. So he was, they walk a fine line. And,
they do.
And I think they did a nice job with it. In all, because it was, they allowed some people to express their opinion.
Okay. Did you attend any of the protests, Dan?
I was advised not to.
Interesting. Okay. Do you know if there will be? Are there any more planned?
And let me back up. When I say I was advised not to, that was by the Department of Health because of my position in a healthcare facility. It was not.
Not
it was
political.
not no, it was not political. It was we are being asked to not go to anything that's more than 5 people, and even if we are wearing personal protective equipment. So I just stayed away because I, again, don't want to risk bringing something back here.
Okay. Well, that makes perfect sense. Do you know if any more protests are planned for the city of Woonsocket?
I have not heard of any others planned. The last one that I had heard about was last Saturday, and there was one that was planned for Friday night that we did not endorse, but we did not deny either. So if you saw, that was on our last council meeting.
Is that the first time the city council has ever done that? We're not giving a permit, but we're not saying you can't do it either.
It's the first time I can remember, but and the reason being was because of the governor's emergency order.
Yeah.
You know, and the solicitor was clear. He said, if you allow this, you're violating the governor's order.
Okay.
And if you permit it, if you deny it, then you're kind of violating their right to assemble. So,
well, there's a fine line too.
Yeah, he advised us. He said the police are not going to stop it, and so, but we shouldn't endorse it either. So we tabled it, and it just stopped there, and whatever went on was allowed to happen as long as it was peaceful.
Excellent. All right, we're going to take a final break here on the Coffee and program. So, Bob, it's time for a second message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Frequently on commercial spots on this program, I've suggested to you that there are many occasions in life when it's prudent to consult with an attorney before making decisions which will affect you. I've talked about life planning and estate planning, which those engaged in non-traditional living relationships could consider to protect not only their partner, but also themselves. I've talked about the precautions one should take to avoid libelous and slanderous web blog posting. Unique circumstances where an oral promise to sell real estate can, in fact, be found binding. The obligations which Lead Hazard Disclosure Act imposes upon landlords. The legal right granted to grandparents who are otherwise denied visitation with their grandchildren. The ways in which some convicted first offenders can subsequently seek expungement of a criminal record. And the benefits and liabilities which accompany the execution of a reverse mortgage. I suggested that planning for your future is always better than just letting events control your life. In the event you'd like to discuss this with me or other legal matters, please call my office for a telephone appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licensed all attorneys in general practice of law. The court does not license and certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right there, Bob. Thank you. And the Coffee and program will continue. We do have a message to get to, and we will when we come back. Riverfront Patio Dining awaits you at River Falls Restaurant. Enjoy your lunch or dinner as you overlook the Blackstone River. Here are some of the wonderful items on the menu. Steak and Peppers Pizza, baked stuffed haddock, and choice filet mignon. Make your River Falls Restaurant reservations today by calling 401-235-9026. 235-9026 or go online to riverfallscomplex.com. You'll love the Riverfront Patio Dining at River Falls Restaurant, Market Square, Woonsocket. Local businesses are the key to success in our community. That's why Leo at Switzer Automotive of Woonsocket is a growing business, and Leo and his staff have been giving their expert mechanical services for many years. Switzer knows how important car maintenance is, and their quality service is always guaranteed. Trust the experts at Switzer. Remember, they provide complete foreign and domestic car and truck repairs. Client confidence is their most valuable product. Switzer Automotive, 309 Olo Street, Woonsocket. We salute you for your continuing success in our community.
Hey, this is Dave Koz. Join us this weekend as we welcome saxophonist LeBron to the program. He's got some new music to share, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Plus, get a chance to get to know this guy. He's an up-and-comer, and he's got a bright future. Check out DaveKoz.com during the week and be here this weekend for LeBron, plus more great weekend music on the Dave Koz Radio Show.
Hi, fans of smooth jazz. The Dave Koz Radio Show can only be heard on ON AM and FM, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM every Sunday. Twice on Sundays, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., and again 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The Dave Koz Radio Show is brought to you by the Carew Investment Group. It's the Dave Koz Radio Show every Sunday right here on
ON, AM, and FM.
It is Coffee and right here on ON, AM, and FM, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM. This is Joe Callahan with Dave Richards and Bob Lauder and Dan Gendron, Woonsocket City Council President. And we do have a note that's come in to coffee at woonsocketradio.com. Just says crazy questions. Speaking of masks, and Dan, you're the expert on wearing masks since you wear them most of the time.
Okay.
What about Major League Baseball? Do the batters have to wear them? And if they do, I mean, it's hard enough to hit a baseball, let alone a mask, trying to hit a baseball wearing a mask. This caller finds that unimaginable. As I look at the South Korean Baseball League that plays on that ESPN is showing, it doesn't look like the batters are wearing a mask, but the umpires are. So I don't think the players will be required to wear a mask when they're hitting.
That'll be interesting to see, though. Huh?
Wouldn't it?
Constrict or restrict their breathing just a little bit more.
And
no, wait a minute. When they make calls that you don't agree with, though, you usually say that the umpire can't see what's going on. This is only going to vindicate your philosophy.
That's correct. What was your mask up over your eyes? That's right. It'll be a new cat call to the umpires. There we go. That works out. All right, Dan, we look at the front page of today's call, and just seeing that the City Council approved the new contract for the firefighters. So that went unanimously.
Yes, it did.
So that works out well. The firefighters get some raises as well, and it's retroactive back to July 1st of 2019. So everyone's happy?
I think everyone should be happy. As somebody told me years ago, that if one side is more happy than the other, then it wasn't a fair negotiation. I think both sides came away with the best deal for them, and it was something. Obviously, the council there was almost no deliberation.
Mm-hmm.
It was just passed 7-0, so that was nice.
Okay.
Can I say one thing about that?
Sure.
It's funny. The previous meeting, it was on the agenda to approve their contract, and the solicitor noticed that when it was filed with the Secretary of State, they did not attach the actual contract with the agenda.
Okay.
So he said, I don't feel comfortable going forward with you guys ratifying it without that being posted with the Secretary of State. So let's just table it, and we'll bring it back at the next meeting. Mm-hmm. So we did that. You know, that night at 10:30 at night, I got a phone call from Channel 10 News wanting to know what was going on in Woonsocket, where we were denying the firefighters' contract, and it was this big thing. They created this whole story.
I wonder how they got that part of the information. Was saying, well, how did they create that story? Where did they get their information from?
I don't know, but I explained to them that it was a nothing issue, and they've never returned any of my calls since. It's like when there was not a fight, they didn't want...
They don't want to know about it.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I followed up to let them know that we did approve it unanimously, and I haven't heard back.
Yeah, well, that's dull, Dan. We're not going to run with that.
Right, exactly. But it's funny. By 10:30 that night, it was already...
They already found out about it.
Yeah.
Wow. It makes you wonder how that might have happened. Someone had to tip them off, I guess.
Exactly.
Wow. All right. So that includes this new contract. That includes the firefighters and the EMTs?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay. And what about when does the police contract come up? Do you know?
They are in negotiations right now, and I know there's been some discussion. Again, the city council really we don't get involved until it's agreed upon by both parties. Mm-hmm. So, but I do know that they're actively working with the solicitor and some of the administration to get together with putting that contract together. So that remains to be seen. Stay tuned, as they say.
Okay. All right, Dan, you've had, I don't know, half a dozen or so virtual Zoom meetings with the city council. Has the amusement part of it rubbed off? Has it gone away? Do you really want to get back together at Harris Hall?
Well, absolutely. I really can't wait until we are live again, even if it's in a somewhat modified, maybe sitting further apart or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so tough. When I'm watching on my laptop and I'm trying to see when somebody says council president, you have no direction where that came from. You're looking to see who might have said it, and I've asked them. The councilors have been very good. They'll say motion to approve Ward, or second Conoyer.
Yeah.
And so at least I can know who's saying it.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, over this time that we've been doing it has gotten a little bit easier to do, and I think it's been effective. And thank goodness we have this, because unlike the General Assembly just shut down.
Yeah.
This. And there's a lot of downside to that. So we were able to keep business running and keep government operating, even if in this distorted fashion. It's been pretty good, and I'm glad we've been able to do it.
Well, I'm glad it's been able to keep going as well. I'm just saying, okay, it was fun the first couple of times, but now it's just getting annoying that we have to do it this way.
And thank good, and I for the people listening, Dave is always recording it and playing it live and whatnot. It's important because, you can't expect everyone to want to be on Zoom. So to be able to turn on their radio, and I'm speaking for my mom and dad, they put on their radio and they can hear what sounds like an almost normal city council meeting.
It does.
Thank you for that.
For the most part, sure. I look at it this way. I live in Massachusetts, and they do things differently in Massachusetts. And my town just had what they call their town meeting to get together to ratify a few things. And I'm thinking, could Woonsocket do something like this? What if you were to have your meeting outside? What if you were to go to World War II Park and have something set up, podiums or whatever, and you're all 6 feet apart, and just and have the meeting on the ball field there?
It could definitely work. The problem with something like that is, as you know, if we advertise, you have to advertise 48 hours in advance, and if we advertise for Monday night at 7 o'clock, and you end up with a thunderstorm, you can't say, well, let's go 2 hours
someplace
later,
else.
or let's you're on the hook.
Yeah.
And so it's not an ideal thing. If we had a big pavilion with a roof or something,
that would be okay.
One thing that we've thought about and we've talked about is maybe getting us back into Harris Hall, setting us up 6 feet apart with the council, the clerk, and the administration, and then video recording or filming, or whatever the terminology is now, recording the thing and playing it live, so people can watch but not actually be in the room.
Okay.
Because we have to, by the governor's order, you have to allow people to watch live or listen live, and maybe that's a hybrid that we could go to, so that at least we can have a real meeting and still have access for people to listen and watch the council meeting.
Okay.
But we'll see how that plays out.
But in the meantime, it's Zoom until further notice.
Correct.
All right. I've seen this question pop up on social media every once in a while, and now that the hot weather is here, and Dan, I don't know if you have the answer to this, but is the splash pad in Woonsocket going to open at some point?
I don't know that it will. I know that the mayor really wants to have it open.
Yeah.
And it's just trying to work between, the governor's mandates and the social distancing and everything. So I don't know that it's going to happen, but if there's a way that it can happen, I am sure that it will open up. Director D'Agostino has been good about keeping that very accessible and safe at the same time. So it's going to be a balancing act, and I don't know that we'll see it open soon. But hopefully, because I know a lot of people enjoy it, and it is getting hot out there.
Yeah, and it's too bad because, the beaches are open, but that's, not everyone can get down to South County.
Exactly.
And it would be a nice alternative, especially for the younger kids, if they could splash around in this and keep cool.
Well, I will pass it on to the director and the mayor to work a little bit harder because this was the topic on the radio today, and that has some impact. So.
Oh well, okay.
No, it does. It truly does.
Yeah, and Bob Lauder wants it open, right, Bob?
Absolutely.
But I got to tell you,
swim, and walking around in water up to my ankles, it just brings back memories of walking to school when I was a kid. It's all good.
There you go.
But I go down there sometimes, and I see Bob, and he's pushing the little kids out of the way. It's just, Bob, let them play
it's
too,
embarrassing.
Okay? hey, they should have respect for their very senior elders here.
All right, so we're coming to the end of the program, so I want to thank you very much for listening in, everyone. Dan Gendron, I want to thank you for joining us today, giving us some good information about everything that's going on, and best of luck in your campaign, by the way.
Thank you much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and allowing me to do this by the phone. I think I appreciate your understanding.
Oh, absolutely. We want you to be safe, and we want you to be comfortable. So doing it over the phone is not an issue. So, so we're going to let you go back to work over there at the Friendly Home. Okay.
Okay. Well, I hope you all have a nice day. Take care, Dave, Bob, Joe. You all have a good day.
All right. Thank you very much. And Bob Lauder, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Hope to be with you next week.
All right.
Bob.
Have a great day, everyone. Dave, thanks for joining us.
It was a pleasure as always.
All right. This is Joe Callahan. We will talk to you this afternoon here on